So the episode starts with this really chill vibe after all the action we had at Gwangali Beach with Jinwoo arriving. Everything seems normal, right? Wrong. The show immediately cuts to Jenna's high school, where 3 male students are just casually walking through the halls on an errand for their art teacher. They're heading to this old art classroom that's basically just a storage room now. And guys, I was immediately getting bad vibes. Like, anytime characters in solo leveling walk into an abandoned room, you know something bad is about to happen. Sure enough, these poor kids unlock the door, dust everywhere, and then one of them spots something terrifying in the corner. A massive blue gate. A dungeon gate. At school. I was literally yelling, "Don't touch it," at my screen. But of course, one of the students reaches out to inspect it. And that's when things go from 0 to 100 real quick. This gate cracks open, a hand shoots out, grabs the kid's head, and crushes his skull instantly. Blood everywhere. It was brutal. Before the other 2 students can even process what's happening, the gate shatters completely, and orcs start pouring out. Not just any orcs, these massive bloodthirsty beasts ready to hunt. The leader immediately starts organizing, telling his buddy to summon more of their brothers. Their plan? Kill everyone in the building and fortify their position. The show doesn't pull any punches, showing just how terrifying this is. The orcs charge down the hallway, axe raised, students frozen in fear. It's a total nightmare scenario. One student manages to call the Hunter Association Emergency Center, and this scene was heartbreaking. This poor girl is hiding in the bathroom, whispering into her phone, absolutely terrified. The receptionist tries to keep her calm, asking her to describe the monsters. Green skin, human-like bodies, ugly faces. Classic orcs. But before help can arrive, we hear a growl, a scream, and the line goes dead. I literally got chills. The school turns into an absolute bloodbath. Bodies everywhere, students either running for their lives or hiding. Some manage to escape, but so many weren't as lucky. These orcs are just brutal, standing over their victims with blood dripping from their axes, and the worst part? They're enjoying it. We cut to a classroom on the top floor where students have barricaded themselves in. The boys are holding makeshift weapons, chairs, mops, anything they can find, but they're shaking with fear because deep down, they know it won't make any difference. And that's when the door explodes off its hinges and the leader orc bursts in. One student makes a desperate run for the back door, but gets immediately cut down by another orc waiting in the shadows. They're trapped! Here's where my heart started pounding. We see Jenna among these students. Jinwoo's sister is huddled in the corner with her classmates, absolutely terrified. But there's this beautiful moment where, even in her fear, she clings to the hope that her brother will come save her. She calls out to him in her mind, and I was like, "Jinwoo, where are you?" Then something really interesting happens. One of the orcs senses something unusual about Jenna. He detects a surge of magic energy coming from her. This orc becomes fixated on killing her specifically, which was a huge reveal about Jenna possibly having powers. As the orc approaches her, one of Jenna's classmates steps in the way, showing incredible bravery. But it's useless. The orc raises his massive axe, ready to strike Jenna down. She squeezes her eyes shut, bracing for the end, and I was holding my breath. But then, just as the axe is about to fall, bam! A high orc shadow soldier in black armor appears and grabs the orc's wrist. Then, with overwhelming force, the shadow soldier slams its fist down on the orc's head so hard that the orc shoots through the roof like a rocket. I literally jumped out of my chair. More hierarch shadow soldiers materialize, forming a protective wall around Jenna. The tables have completely turned, and that's when we realize Jinwoo's shadows came to protect her. Even though Jinwoo himself wasn't there, his connection to his sister is so strong that his shadows responded to her danger. Meanwhile, Jinwoo is inside a dungeon with the Knights Guild raid party. They're fighting a twin-headed ogre, and the animation here was spectacular. Jongsu, the tank, blocks this massive battle axe while Yunai dashes in with lightning speed and slashes both of the ogre's eyes. Then the whole guild launches a coordinated attack, frontline fighters slashing deep cuts while mages blast it with spells. Jongsu explains that this twin-headed ogre is actually a gravekeeper, which usually means an army of undead deeper in the dungeon. But here's the weird part. The undead aren't charging at them. They're retreating, as if something scarier is chasing them. And that's when Jinwoo's instincts kick in. He picks up urgent signals from his hierarch warriors protecting Jenna. Without hesitation, he tells Jong-soo he has to leave immediately. Jong-soo protests, worried about the dangers without Jinwoo, but our boy is unfazed. Instead, Jinwoo summons the most powerful soldier in his shadow army, Beirut. The hunters literally back away in fear at Beirut's overwhelming manner. Jinwoo calmly tells them that 20 of his shadows are more than enough to clear the dungeon. When Yarim questions his decision, one icy look from Jinwoo shuts her down real quick. He basically says, "Take my help or leave it, but whatever happens next is on you." Jong-soo wisely agrees. Jinwoo checks the cooldown timer for his shadow exchange skill, still over an hour left before he can use it again. Frustrated but determined, he sprints toward the exit, ready to cut through the undead blocking his path. But then something unexpected happens. Instead of attacking, the undead drop to their knees and bow before him. This moment gave me chills. Is it because of his necromancer abilities? But Jinwoo doesn't have time to think about it. He bursts out of the dungeon, summons his winged dragon Kaisel, always a hype moment, and takes off toward Jenna's school, ignoring the awestruck crowd watching him. Back at the high school, Jinwoo's shadow soldiers have already eliminated 3 orcs, and they're standing guard around Jenna. She's confused, wondering if her brother has arrived. The shadows won't let her leave their side, pointing to the lingering danger in the building. And then, boom. The dungeon gate cracks open again, and a throne emerges carrying the final boss, Grockar, the orc warlord and chief of the Redblade tribe. The animation here was insane. This massive, terrifying orc sitting on his throne, ready to bring absolute destruction. A panicked subordinate rushes to Grockar, reporting that 3 high orcs are helping the humans. Grockar is unimpressed, calling his warriors pathetic for not being able to handle just 3 opponents. He lifts his massive axe and heads to the classroom. With one powerful swing, Grockar sends a shadow soldier flying. The other orcs erupt in cheers, chanting their leader's name. Even though the shadow warriors are incredibly strong, they're no match for the chief of the Redblade tribe. There's this awesome detail where Grockar points to the tattoos covering his body, each one representing an enemy he's slain. He's taunting the shadow soldiers, demanding a better fight. But here's the thing about Jinwoo's shadows, they're relentless. No matter how many times Grockar cuts them down, they regenerate instantly. Grockar is getting frustrated. As he tries to figure out how to permanently eliminate these shadows, he hears a voice in his head urging him to kill the humans. That's when he realizes, if these shadows are controlled by magic, he needs to eliminate their caster. His gaze falls on Jenna, trembling behind the shadows. He assumes she's controlling them. Without hesitation, he commands his orcs to seize her while the shadows are regenerating. The shadows try to intercept, but they're swarmed by other orcs who keep them at bay. Grockar advances on Jenna himself, grabbing her by the mouth and lifting her off the ground. My heart was racing at this point. He's about to squeeze the life out of her when suddenly a deafening roar echoes from the distance. Grockar freezes, his instincts screaming that something powerful is coming. His grip loosens and Jenna falls to the ground, gasping for air. Every second, this overwhelming presence draws closer. Grockar orders his warriors to brace for impact, but before they can react, kaboom! An earth-shattering explosion obliterates the classroom wall, and through the dust and debris emerges the man himself, Jinwoo. Without a word, he gently pats Jenna's head, this small gesture of reassurance that hit me right in the feels. Grockar is clearly terrified, but tries to maintain his composure, introducing himself as the chief of the Redblade tribe. But Jinwoo just raises his hand and commands him to shut up and wait, in the coldest voice ever. I got chills! Jenna throws her arms around her brother, tears in her eyes. Jinwoo strokes her hair gently, asking if she's okay and apologizing for being late. But when he notices the handprint on her cheek and neck where Grockar grabbed her, oh man, his blood boils. He commands Igris to stay by Jenna's side and summons additional shadow soldiers to escort the remaining students to safety. When the orcs try to move, Jinwoo glares at them with such anger, demanding to know who allowed them to move. Grockar realizes he's completely outmatched. Without wasting another second, Grockar commands his warriors to attack, but they never stood a chance. One orc swings a massive axe at Jinwoo, but he catches its fingers effortlessly and crushes them in his grip. Then he flips the orc upside down, slams it into the ground, and crushes it beneath his foot. Two more orcs lunge, but Jinwoo barely moves. With a flick of his wrist, he activates Commander's Touch, sending them colliding mid-air before clenching his fist, causing their bodies to burst apart. The animation here was just insane. Jinwoo weaves through the orcs with ease, dismantling them with nothing but his fingers. Wherever he touches, heads, shoulders, arms, torsos, the orcs explode on impact. In mere moments, dozens of orcs lay motionless. Finally, Jinwoo stands face to face with Grockar. He grabs the orc chief by the jaw and slams his head against the wall. Jinwoo's rage boils over as he sees the fallen students littered across the floor. In this intense final confrontation, Grockar trembles as he explains that a voice in his head ordered him to slaughter all humans. Jinwoo presses him. Had the voice commanded him to kill Jinwoo as well? Grockar begs for forgiveness, swearing he hadn't intended to challenge Jinwoo. But our boy is ice cold. In an eerily calm voice, Jinwoo tells Grockar that he might forgive him, but the path to forgiveness won't be easy. And then, without another word, Jinwoo summons the Demon Monarch's dagger and brutally ends Grockar's life. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more solo leveling content. This is Otaku Act signing off. See you in the next one.